Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This of course is another anime reaction video. Today, we are getting into some more Eden's Zero. Now real quick before we start, I will apologize. I don't know how bad it's going to be, but if I sound a little bit quieter, and if I end up speaking less during the actual reaction portion, I apologize in advance. Due to some personal private matters I'm not going to get into. Normally I record, because I'm self-conscious, I record and there usually, at least to my knowledge, there's nobody around, but I know that there's some people in some rooms nearby. There's some noisy fans going on that should make it so it's not that big of a deal, but you know, again, self-conscious. So I'm gonna worry about that, so that might affect the audio commentary, but yeah, and that's gonna be like that for about a month. Though, if you're only here for Eden Zero, that might not be that big of a deal since I'm pretty quickly approaching being completely caught up with what is available right now. I didn't spoil myself, but I looked up, and the most recent episode of Eden Zero is like episode 14 or something like that, 13 or 14. So by the midpoint of July, like halfway through July, about then, I should be about caught up, and then I'm just going to be weekly. So I'm either gonna just keep it like the 3 episode show cycle, or I'm gonna bump it up to 4, because having to wait every week for a single episode of Eden Zero is gonna kind of suck. But either way, real quick before we get started, also forgot about this because this showed up before I recorded the last Eden Zero reaction, but I'll show it off now. I'm sure some of you, I know one of you is a fan of Fairy Tail. I just been buying some pretty cheap figures lately. Been really into that. This one, along some of the other figures, are usually less than $40, I would say. And this is no exception. I pre-ordered this when it was still on pre-order. It's a nice little figure. Kind of, like I said, I didn't watch very much of Fairy Tail. It was years ago, but I don't remember basically anything. The one thing I do definitively remember is Urza. She's my favorite character. Her power is really cool. Her basically having an infinite arsenal of swords and like armor sets to swap out in the middle of battle, basically at any time she wanted to. Really cool, loved her. So I have a little figure of her because I definitely plan on reacting to the anime in the future. Don't know when, but that's something. As always, before we get started, make sure to like that button if you like Eden Zero. It's the best way to show. It's the second best way to show me that you like this series and you want to see more Eden Zero reactions from me. The first being to literally go in the comments and type that exactly out as I like your Eden Zero reactions and I want to see more. And the third best way is to subscribe with hitting notification bell so you don't miss a single upload in the future. But with that all being said, we're going to get started with the reaction here. As always, link in the description below will take you to the full-length uncut reaction. You can go there, watch the reaction, come back to YouTube. Without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so I could definitely kind of like sense that I'm not as loud as usually am. To be fair, I'm not typically hugely loud, but I was definitely feeling a bit quieter while watching this episode. So I hope it's not that big of a deal. I usually bump up my audio in editing anyway, so it's usually not that big of a deal. But anyway, this was a lot of fun. I'm really excited to see more. There's still so many mysteries. There'll even be more mysteries that aren't answered in this arc, or whatever you want to call it. They'll have to wait for more. But even in this arc, there's still some questions that haven't been answered. I'm not sure, and I don't think I should theorize on what exactly is down in the whole like basement type thing of the church. But it's interesting that I very aggressively in the last video accused sister, the shark tooth lady, that she's completely bullshitting me and she's lying, and that's 100% what's gonna happen. But I just don't know the specifics yet, and I definitely should not comment on that. But I just have to wonder. Oh, maybe, and this is just a wild guess, I'll probably find out in the next episode anyway, and you can tell me how stupid I am in the comments for even guessing this, but the fact that at least the one claiming to be sister is somewhat robotic looking with those lines and whatever, and having like the mechanical parts, and the thing on her back that's like a tube that was connected to like the ground, I believe. when she first appeared, end of last episode, beginning of this episode. Maybe that has something. Oh no, because I think it was said that sisters. Wait, no. You know what? I don't even remember. I don't remember what their ether gear was, but I could have sworn one of them was that they could heal anything. I'm pretty sure that's sister. Right, because they needed to talk to her to heal Happy, I think. And Wise just like did some fixing before they left. But I don't know. Like the fact that the tube was connected to the ground, and there's a huge ether from that area down there. Either sister is controlling like an external android to do what she has to survive, or something, or See, I have so many ideas, but I don't even know how true they could even like be remote. I don't even know how remotely close they could be. Mostly because I could be wrong about what her exact ether gear is, so I'm either gonna not say anything about it or completely wrongly guess what her ether gear is, and then my entire line of thinking just makes no sense. But you know what, I'll just put it out there. I'm willing to be wrong, but if her thing is that she can heal anyone, it could be a twist that she can't heal everyone and she's just trying to do mercenary work using, it's like it's taking all of her ability or whatever to keep a certain person still alive with her healing power. And you know what, I'm not gonna continue that. I'm gonna stop. It's probably wrong anyway. I said I was willing to be wrong, but I don't know. I don't want to keep that up. But I'm really interested to see more Homuna's backstory too, because it hasn't been revealed yet. There's no way the fight with the fat man is done yet, but she said it was passed down to her, and it's the sword made for killing the Demon King. So obviously this whole Demon King and legendary hero is, and it's been mentioned in the comments in these videos before, but this whole Demon King legendary hero thing, it's not just on Granbell, planet Granbell, like we were led to believe in earlier episodes, when they said it was just a role that he was fulfilling for Shiki's sake or whatever. It's very clearly something that a lot of people know, and that's very apparent because of you know, Elsie, and also Homura, which means there's another person who is connected to Ziggy, and by extension Shiki. So there's just, it's this whole thing that, and I think it's really kind of interesting that no one in universe is bringing it up. I know that I know it, but since Shiki and Rebecca were told on the island that the Demon King was just a role he was fulfilling, and basically he was lying to Shiki the whole time, I'm curious as to why they never questioned it. Unless I'm forgetting. Please tell me if I'm forgetting. Overall, this episode was a bit lighter in tone, which is fine. Obviously, some more mysteries pop up that'll lead to stuff in the future. Darkest moment was definitely when what's his face, Ilega or whatever, captured Rebecca, and I'm surprised. Maybe it's because Shiki falling into a evil or villainy or something like that is reserved for later, but I'm surprised they didn't, because the first thing that came to mind when Shiki started beating the shit out of Ilega was Full Metal Alchemist, which, I mean, spoilers for like a 20-year-old manga and like a 17-year-old slash a 9-year-old anime, depending on if you watch 2003 or Brotherhood. But in Full Metal Alchemist with Sho Tucker, I'm not going to say anything after that, but if you don't know, then it's fine. But Sho Tucker is a person that Ed was starting to beat the shit out of, because Sho Tucker did a very bad, and Ed was pissed, so he started beating the shit out of him and nearly killed him. So I don't know, just seeing Shiki's face and how pissed he was in the last episode when he knew that or in the last 2 episodes really, that he knew that they kidnapped Rebecca. I figured they were going for something like that. Again, guess they're just saving that for later maybe, because I feel like that would be an interesting plot point to take, especially since he's, you know, the grandson of the Demon King, even though he's not, you know, biologically the grandson. It's still something worth kind of like thinking about, especially because, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, ether gear can kind of be passed down in some way, or at least it can be given to people from what I've heard. Again, could be wrong, because Homura was saying something similar. The sword was actually passed down to her, and if it's an ether sword and she activates her ether gear to use it, then that would be part of her ether gear. And so if it was given to her by someone to kill the Demon King, and that would kind of mean that Shiki was granted his ability from the Demon King, which kind of makes sense. Gravity manipulation can be really OP if you know how to use it really smart, which so far Shiki's been pretty good with it. Some great comedy, really interesting to see. Really interested to see how they're gonna get the all the girls back out of the complex and probably onto Eden Zero to escape off of the planet before the chronophage, you know, swallows the planet and eats some of its time and essentially erases all the people that are currently on it. And you know how the chronophage works. And I'm super interested because obviously none of these girls, as far as I know, has any fighting potential. Only one that might have potential in the future that I can think of is Rebecca, because she started to unlock her ether gear, but unfortunately that's kind of not really an option right now. She only used it one time, and that's when she was in the bath of the ship, and it doesn't seem like she's able to use it again, or I feel like she would at least have tried to use it again when she was in, you know, that room. But the rest of them seem to have nothing else going for them, so the fact that that Pino is the only one that could do anything, and that being disabling electronics and stuff like that with her EMP ability, I'm kind of scared to see what's going to happen next, because bare minimum, they're not only going to have to fight Elego's soldiers, they're going to have to fight Long Neck, Thumbhead, Have an Ass, and then the sister herself. So, Shiki's fighting Jin, Weiss, and Homura. Again, the fat man, he's not done yet. Oh boy, and the twist that the chronophage is coming in. That's really scary. But that's pretty much all I had to say about this episode. I'm going to get into the next episode in a second here. Alright, overall, another really great episode. I am definitely pretty happy that I decided to not fully explain what my theory was, because that was completely off the mark. There might be something similar going on with Jin, with his little sister. I forget what her name is already, but it started with a K, and it had many E's in it, like 3, where he's as a mercenary, and he's sort of doing, you know, quote-unquote bad things, even though it's really just for money, so he's more neutral than anything. But that's what he's doing, and he's doing it for his sister, which is kind of what I was getting at with my theory, is that sister was using a robotic body to hide underground with someone she couldn't heal, and then she was just making money so she could figure. In hindsight, that makes no sense, especially now that we've seen the full extent of her healing power. The fact that she can do it over such a wide area, and also, even though it's technically not healing to turn them back from stone, because that's not like a physical ailment or anything. Like, you're not dead, you're not sick, you're just like permanently immobile. I guess you could technically consider that to be something, but either way, the fact that it can do all that means she's very, very impressive, and it's almost like it was nothing too, which is just crazy to think about. And yeah. God bless Weiss. What, you've never heard any of those nun videos? Dude, Shiki's like, what, 15? Got him some slack. He hasn't gotten that part of his life yet. But, really excited to see more. It's kind of a shame, though, because it seems like episode 12 is going to be the last episode on Guilst, and it'll probably start setting up whatever the next arc is. But, like, at the same time, it probably would have been like a really good place to end the episode. You know what? I'm catching up to the anime right now. Maybe next video will just be one episode, just episode 12, because that'll be probably a good place to end at the end of an arc and the setup of a next arc. And then that'll give me at least another rotation where I won't have to worry about, like, because once I catch up to Eden Zero, it's basically going to be like it's not going to be part of the rotation. It's just going to be like every Monday or Tuesday, because new episodes of Eden Zero come out on Sunday, so at the earliest Monday would be when the reaction to that episode goes up. But and that all depends if there are any subgroups that are still doing it. I imagine it's because of the fact that it's in Netflix jail. Eden Zero is. But and it also might be because people unfairly hate the series, because this is great. This is really interesting, and I guess I could see how some people are turned off, because there's definitely a lot of skin. let's say it like that. And there's some very interesting camera angles, wink wink, and it was definitely getting pretty dark in episode 8 and 9. And in 10 and 11 there were still some like moments of darkness, but overall it was more, what the fuck? It was more lighter in tone, I would say. Not that it's a bad thing. I'm still 100% enjoying my time here. And someone was mentioning that that sort of sometimes happens a lot. Not a lot, but sometimes does happen in Eden Zero, and even in Fairy Tail, I think someone said. And then, but most of that's going to be happening in the second half of the season, which is really interesting to think about, because I'm getting pretty close to, because this season's going to be, what, 25 episodes? And then, so the halfway point would be around 12 or 13. But either way, I'm going to say it right now, because I've been thinking about this. But I will probably, if by the time the last episode of the season comes out, and like, let's say 6 months after I react to the last episode, episode 25 of Eden Zero Season 1, if by 6 months after I react to that last episode of Season 1, there isn't any kind of like announcement or confirmation that Season 2 is at the very least in production, or is confirmed to at least be going into production, then I'm just going to read the manga on the channel, do like manga readings on the channel. Never done it before, but I'll probably do that, because I might be doing Record of Ragnarok manga readings soon, and pick up where the anime left off. But like I said, if Eden Zero is not confirmed for Season 2, 6 months after I react to the last episode, I'm just going to the manga, just to see what's up. But, you know, things might change. But let me check right now, actually. Eden Zero Season 2. I doubt there's going to be anything, because Season 1's not even done yet. So, yeah, no. Nothing yet, unfortunately. But, God, I hope the Frogman stays on the planet when the chronophage attacks. And I can't wait to see the rest of the four shining stars, because I'm already really interested by Sister. Her design is interesting, and I especially like her like personality, and like the way she's been acting so far. It's been really interesting. No word yet on Best Girl, in my opinion. Too early in the series, I think. I don't think there's been any definitive one yet. But I think that's pretty much all I had to say about this episode. Thank you for watching, if you watched all the way, and make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, so you don't miss a single upload in the future. Thank you once again for watching. Peace.